Hello everyone, Blugoblin here on my second channel, Blugoblin X, for my main comic book review for this week in July 2013. I want to thank y'all for joining me. And a special shout out to my good friends Mark and Chloe at FatStackOfComics. Y'all are just killing it. I was honored to win your little drawing. It was very... I just love your stuff, and I got my badonkadonk down to Arkham Comics and got my books for this week. And I said something on Facebook that I need to address. I said that I was going to try and get into Daredevil. I tried, but I did put Daredevil on my pull list. But issues 28 and 29 down here are completely out of stock. So I wasn't able to get any of it. So I asked my bro, my student, one of my dearest friends in the world, TheMtVernonKid, if he could see if Midtown Comics had copies of those issues, because I actually went through 2 different states trying to find those issues. I went through Arkansas. I went to Arkham in Arkansas, and I went to a couple of stores in Tennessee. Nobody had any copies of Daredevil. Nothing. So I wasn't able to find anything. So sorry, there will be no Daredevil review this week. I'm greatly sorry about that. But I got a lot of books to cover here, so let's go ahead and get started with Marvel. We're going to start with Astonishing X-Men number 64. Marjorie Liu, oh man, still killing it with the writing in here. I gotta say, the interior artwork is very nice. For the most part, I still don't like the way Wolverine is drawn in here. It just looks a little weird. But everything else is just fantastic looking. You know, it's just more than just New York and parts of America that are under siege with all this ice and snow and everything. The government is declaring a state of emergency, saying we could be on the brink of a complete apocalypse if this ice and snow does not stop and does not thaw. And it's just wow. You know, Bobby is really pushing it in here, because you have to understand he had something that has the I believe it was called the Apocalypse Seed, or something that has the power of Apocalypse planted in him during the extermination story, I believe. And it's made him crazy with power. And he's like so uncaring, so cold-hearted, no pun intended. And it's basically Iceman is now Apocalypse. Not literally, but figuratively and technically, yes. He is currently the Apocalypse. And he's just wreaking havoc everywhere. And his attitude about it is he don't give a shit. And you know, it's like the ice clones of him that are going around is like they're like little parts of him or little memories of him that tried to slip away from him and everything. God, the storytelling is just all over the place with this, but it flowed so well. It was really there's a very funny scene involved. There's a pretty, not very funny, but a pretty funny scene involving Dark Beast when you see him for the first time in this book. But the way this story is progressing is just incredible. Can't get enough of it. And the cliffhanger. Oh my God, as if it couldn't get any worse. The cliffhanger. God damn. Just get this book. Read it. If you haven't been already. I mean, it's not too late. Get on board with Astonishing X-Men. The stuff that Bobby's doing in here is just incredible. And probably the most intense part of the book involves Bobby and his father. And I'm going to leave it at that. But the cliffhanger made me go, oh shit. This was good. Very nice. Marvel did a great job. Marjorie Liu, I salute you. Fantastic work. Astonishing X-Men number 64. Good stuff. I'll just put it over here. Alright. Okay, moving on. Probably gonna get some mixed reactions about this. Fearless Defenders number 6. This was oh man. Now, I can't deny that I still like this series. However, this issue pissed me off. But not with a great anger and rage, but excuse me a second. But this issue, to me, really let me down. It really disappointed me. I even posted a blog about this book and what happens in here on my Tumblr page. So, if you're watching this for the first time, spoiler warning on this issue. I'm going to spoil the hell out of this book because I need to talk about this. What we got in here is Valkyrie still batshit crazy as a death maiden. She's reawakened as Brunhilde. I can't pronounce her real name for the life of me. As a death maiden. And she's literally just smacking everybody around in the Defenders. She's smacking around Felicia, Natasha, even She-Hulk and Hippolyta. She's just laying waste to everybody. And on a lighter note, when she keeps going, more. She keeps just, there's parts in here where she's just going, more. And I instantly thought of Ryback. Feed me more. Feed me more. But Ryback sucks now, so let's get back to the book. But despite smacking everybody around, there's only one person who was able to actually get through to Valkyrie. And that was Annabelle, Dr. Annabelle Riggs. And that to me proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that Annabelle was indeed one of the big stars of the book, if not arguably the most popular character in the series. So what happens? Valkyrie kills her. That's right. One of the most popular characters in the series, if not arguably the most popular character, gets killed off in issue 6. Only 6 issues in, and the most popular character gets killed off, Annabelle Riggs. And when this happened, when this issue came out and the story got out, everybody was on the ropes going, Marvel did this out of sheer homophobia because Annabelle's gay. Annabelle's a lesbian, and she's in love with Valkyrie. And then Valkyrie's the one that kills her in this issue. Everybody was ready to jump on the bandwagon saying that Cullen Bunn and Marvel did this out of sheer hatred for their homosexual audience. Now, I myself, I'm straight. But I also thought that too. I thought that, okay, she's literally the only open gay character in the book, so, oh, she's got to die. I also called bullshit on this. But I actually tweeted Cullen Bunn directly after I read this book, and I said, dude, why the fuck did you kill off Annabelle? She was the shining star of the book. She had a sort of originality. I asked him to fix it. And he actually tweeted back saying, I'll see what I can do. And then I ended up having a full-blown conversation with him over on Twitter. I asked him, what was the deal with this? I was like, Annabelle was the spark of originality in this series. And he said, hey, trust me, I know. And he actually told me that people love this character, and he knows it because he claimed that she was his favorite character in the series as well. And I said, okay, fair point, I understand that, but I just feel like that this kind of reeked of homophobia. And he replied back saying, now get this, if this death was caused by homophobia, he wouldn't have created this character and then given her such a big spotlight to begin with. Which is a valid point, but I still can't help but feel that way. And also, not to mention that this was a big wasted opportunity for the character itself. She was extremely popular with the Marvel, with the target audiences. Whether you were gay or straight, there was a lot of people I've talked to over the internet and in real life saying that they loved this character and that they were deeply upset to see her get killed off so early in the series. And I even said that in my blog, saying that I kind of saw this happening anyway. But I'm really disappointed that they didn't hardly seem to want to waste any time. Just go ahead and kill her off before the series even hit double-digit numbering. I was thinking to myself, this was such a wasted opportunity because I felt like they could have got such much more good storytelling out of this character. And the fact that they killed her off this early into the series, it just seems so lazy to me. You could have done such good storytelling with this. I don't know what's going on later down the road with this series. I don't know. But what I do know is that this was a big wasted opportunity. I really do believe that. They could have took this character in Annabelle. You know what? Hell, go for it. Put her in a relationship with Valkyrie. See where you can go with it. Do something different. Who knows? Maybe we can get some drama. Maybe some more comedy. Some more awkward goofiness. Who knows where it could have gone? Really? Just, fuck it. Go for it. But they just killed her off because I'm just thinking in my heart they were going, nah, about it. We'll do something else. I really honestly believe this was a wasted opportunity. But it is a salute to the character of Annabelle. She was the shining star of this issue. Valkyrie's smacking everybody around, and Annabelle is literally the only person who's actually able to get through to Valkyrie in this book. But at the end of the book, Valkyrie carries Annabelle's dead body, and from a panel transition, when you turn the page, it kind of looks like Valkyrie carries Annabelle's body and drops her on the ground, which really was insulting to the character, in my opinion. She gives a long, hammy speech about how they need to band together, the world needs us as defenders, and Misty Knight, justifiably, slugs Valkyrie and tells her to go fuck herself, which I do believe is justified, because I've spoke to a lot of people and I can understand their argument when they say that Valkyrie didn't really show that much emotion over the loss of Annabelle, but more that she looked like she was disappointed in herself for being the one that dealt the fatal blow. It's almost like, okay, Annabelle gets killed, Valkyrie's like, oh, my bad, let's reform the Defenders. That's basically what it looked like. It made Annabelle look like the star of the book, but at the same time, it was also kind of insulting to the character and, in my opinion, to her fans. That's why I have such a mixed emotion about this book. I don't know where it's going, but right now, all I can say is, I'm really pissed. Alright, moving along. The Superior Spider-Man, issue number 13. I'm going to tell you something right now. This came damn close to being my pick of the week. This was really, really good. Dan Slott, Giuseppe Camuncoli, your artwork is just fantastic. The writing was good. This was really good. This is the conclusion of the story on the raft involving the Spider Slayer and everything. This was incredible. The action was good. The drama was really good. There was tension. Everything you could ask for in a Spider-Man book, except for one thing. We didn't hardly get any comedy in here. And that's the one thing I'm truly missing from a Spider-Man book is comedy. Not go overboard with it, but little bits here and there. But this was a really big reminder that Otto Octavius may consider himself a far more superior Spider-Man to Peter Parker, but at the same time, he's just really, really dark. And he's not afraid to use lethal force in here. It's just, I will take back what I said one thing. There was a comedic moment, now that I remember. There was a comedic moment in here involving Captain Boomerang, and I'm not going to ruin what it was. But it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. But this is not false advertising. The Lizard does indeed come to help Spider-Man. He's like, I am not the Lizard. I am Curtis Connors. And I love the speech bubbles for the Lizard. It's so well done in here. But I'm not going to give too much away in here, but Spider-Man saves the day. Now, what he does and how he does it, I'm not going to ruin it, but all I'll say about that is, holy fucking shit. And then after that, we got an epilogue of the story involving Spider-Man having a little private discussion with J. Jonah about what to do with the raft, that the prison island known as the Raft. And what Otto Octavius does in here reestablishes the fact that he is a certifiable dick. He actually has the gall to blackmail, minor spoiler, he actually has the gall to blackmail J. Jonah Jameson into handing the raft over to him as his base of operations. Wow. And what he says in here to J. Jonah, what he blackmails him with, I just looked at those panels, looked at the dialogue, and I went, Otto, you fucking prick! This was a solid issue of Superior Spider-Man. And for those of you who hate this series because you can't see anybody else being Spider-Man other than Peter Parker, believe me, I understand. I wasn't fully on board with this series when it got started, but for right now, it's still very solid work. And the way the book ends, you know Otto's got more shit up here to think with. And I can't wait to see where this series goes. I know it's only a matter of time before Peter Parker officially comes back. It's inevitable. But for what we got here with this series, it's been consistent, it's been solid, it's certainly been dark, and it's been an enjoyable read for me. I can nitpick, but I really can't honestly bitch and complain about it. I feel like I'm getting my money's worth when I pay for this. This was really good. Alright, we're ending Marvel with Uncanny X-Men number 8. Brian Michael Bendis and Chris Bachalo. More solidness. And Bendis, with your consistency on what you're doing with your X-Men stuff, I have to commend you. I'll admit, I wasn't a big fan. I'll admit, I enjoyed your run on Age of Ultron until we got to the ending. Then I thought it was shit. But the rest of it was good. But your X-Men stuff has just been killing it. Especially here. Now, is this cover false advertising? Not entirely. Trust me, Scott and Eric, they go into some words, but it never really comes to blows like the cover suggests. But there is moments where when they're having their conversation, you think, oh, it's about to come to blows any minute now, because Bendis does such a good job with this series, reestablishing that long lost hatred between humans and mutants. This particular issue did a really fine job with establishing the fact that humans do indeed hate and fear what they don't understand. very, very well done. There's a moment in here where a new mutant is found out by the police, and instantly, I mean, without even a hesitation, they pull their guns out and start shooting. All based on the simple fact that this guy is a mutant. Now, this mutant that they shoot at has a very distinctive power. He can actually communicate with cars. Now I'm thinking, that's pretty impressive. I wonder if he can communicate with all vehicles in general, like airplanes, trucks, tanks, boats. You know, is it just cars, or can he go even higher up? I'm really intrigued on where they can go with this character. And I'm hoping Mr. Bendis is watching this thinking, okay, this guy can talk to cars. What if he can talk to a tank? Or what if he can talk to a battleship? Or maybe a submarine or something. Any kind of vehicle. You could really go somewhere with this. I'm serious. And Gold Ball, that's what I call it. I'm not going to call him Golden Balls. Gold Ball. You know, the little guy who spits out balls and goes plink, 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 plink. He's coming back home. He's telling his family that he's a mutant, and they instantly want to take him to the hospital and get cured because they can't have a mutant in their family. Really heartbreaking stuff, really good dramatic stuff in here. I know I'm minorly spoiling the book, but this issue, I'm serious, did a great job of reestablishing that fear and hatred and misunderstanding of mutants and humans. Really good stuff. And the stuff between Scott and Eric in here was really intense. Very, very well done. You know, Magneto was still calling Scott out, saying, look, you broke our powers. You murdered Charles Xavier. It's basically Magneto speaking for us. Like, who the fuck does Scott Summers think he is, teaching mutants how to use their powers when he can't fucking use his powers himself? Not to mention, he banded a bunch of mutants together, called them his X-Men, and put together a school named after a man he murdered. I mean, Bendis is hitting everywhere with this series. The animosity between humans and mutants, firmly doing his best to establish Scott Summers, Cyclops, as a bona fide villain in my eyes. This has really been doing some good work. And it ends on a fuck yeah moment for me. Enter Allison Blair, the Dazzler, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Hell yeah. Woo! Let's get on to DC, shall we? Pick of the week time. I'm a fanboy. Deal with it. Batgirl, number 22. The Ultimate Sacrifice. Gail Simone. I bow to you. Wow. Now, was this the most action-packed issue of the series? No. Was it the most dramatic? That's arguable. But what really made me love this issue is that we don't get Batgirl goodness. We get Barbara Gordon goodness. This was a fantastic issue all about Barbara Gordon. And oh wow, this was so well written. This was so well done. This had everything. This had action. It did. This had drama. This had comedy. This had intense moments. Very warm, touching moments. It was very, very well done. This was damn near perfect. Gail, I love you. I love this writing. This was so good. You know, Barbara's out on a date, and it starts on a laugh. She's like, "Oh my god, I forgot about my date." She's like telling her roommate, "It's like, help me get these boots on. Let me get this dress on." Blah blah blah. She's like, "You're not wearing that. Okay, let me wear this." And she finally goes out to greet her date at the door, and he's like, "You forgot." She's like, "No, I didn't." Yeah. This is so good. And when they're going out on their date, instantly shit happens, and they find a way to get around it. You know, shit's happening, and Barbara helps fix the situation, and you would think the guy was like, oh, God, I don't want my woman fighting for me. You would think he would say something like that, but no, it's the complete opposite, which was a stretch. It was a twist, and I liked it. Some good stuff between Barbara and her dad in here. The stuff that Jim is saying to Barbara in here was really good. I mean, you could really feel the emotion between father and daughter. It was very nice. And the ending of the book with Jim and Batman at the signal. Holy shit. This was good. It's like Jim asked Batman for one thing, and he's like, what? And I'm going to leave it there. The stuff that Jim does and the stuff that Jim says to Batman at the end really sold me on this, on where this series, on where this story is going. It is going very well. The stuff with Barbara was incredibly well done. The artwork in here was very, very nicely done. I loved everything about this. Very, very nice. I can't really complain. Hell, I can't even nitpick. This was so good. Gail Simone, I salute you forever as a fanboy. This was awesome. Alright, moving on. We got Batman number 22. This is the next part of Zero Year. Pretty decent cover there. But Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, I gotta say, I'm still not 100% okay with them tweaking Batman's origin even more. I'm like, what more can you possibly tweak? You added in an uncle we never knew anything about. It's like you're borrowing elements from Batman Begins. You're making Bruce look like a complete arrogant bastard prick. You're making him badmouth Alfred, which doesn't look right. And him as a rookie vigilante making minor mistakes and everything. And this book was good. I just don't think it's as good as DC wants it to be. You know, that's where I am with this. We got some the stuff with the Red Hood is good. The original, supposedly the original Red Hood. The stuff with him was really good. The stuff with the Riddler was really good. But he's not the Riddler. He's still just Edward Nygma. Still very nice. I don't really want to say anything else about, without spoiling this. There was a twist. There was a moment involving Bruce and his uncle, and I thought it was going in a particular direction, and then when the big reveal of where it was going happened, I was like, oh, okay, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting something completely different. It's just, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's still solid writing. The artwork is still really good, but there's just, I don't know. I can't explain it, but with a story like this, for me, it's really easy to find those minor flaws and nitpick at them. Sometimes it's not so obvious, but in here, I just can't help but notice that this really isn't a necessary story. I'm like, how much more can you tweak Batman, Bruce's origin on how he became Batman? How much more can you add? How much more can you take away from it? What more can you tweak and twist? Because we're in the new 52, it's got to be retold. No, it doesn't have to be retold. We've known for the past 70-something years what his origin is. Why do you need to keep changing it? Why do you need to keep tweaking it or retelling it or taking things out? I don't really honestly think it's necessary. But I will be honest and I will be fair for what it was. This was a decent read. I actually did enjoy it. I'm just not 100% on board with the overall concept of this story. That's all I'm trying to get across. But overall, a good read for what it was. Good artwork, good dialogue. For the most part, it was okay. Alright, moving along. Green Lantern Corps number 22. Fatal Wounds. Van Jensen, Robert Venditti, and Bernard Chang. I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way right now. When I read this book, I saw a big moment where I thought, whoa, DC actually had the balls to do it. Spoiler. When I read this, I came to a moment where between Star Sapphire and between Fatality and John Stewart. And I saw John Stewart get a harpoon through his heart. And I caught me off guard. I was like, I'll be goddamn. DC actually had the balls to go ahead and do it. But then I looked at it again. I'm like, okay, nice. Okay, you almost had me. DC, I will say this. Good job. You almost fooled me. I looked at it again, and I was like, okay, nice one, DC. A nice college try, but you almost had me. We're getting this is a story based. John Stewart is learning more and more about what's going on with the Corps. He's just now learning that Hal has been put in charge of the Corps. He's just now learning that Kilowog has got Salak's old job, and he's asked to go help the new rookie Lanterns with the new mission. And once he agrees to go ahead and do it, stuff gets really, really hardcore. And this is like we're also staying consistent with the other Green Lantern titles, whereas their rings are malfunctioning and they're losing power. And we get some bits of information as to what's causing it. But the ending of the book is really where I'm interested in where this is going with the next issue of New Guardians. There is a possible reason why the main power batteries are losing power, and the reason why their rings are malfunctioning. And I'm really intrigued to see where DC's going to go with this. This is a huge opportunity for the new creative teams of all the Green Lantern titles to really step it up and make these series really go into orbit, no pun intended. But this was good. Very nice. A little tease from DC in here that nearly fooled me, but I caught on to it, and I'm like, good one. But overall, a solid read. I really enjoyed this. Nice. Alright, we're going to move on. Suicide Squad, number 22. I don't know what to think about that cover. That cover is just a little weird. Death and Destruction in Sin City. The Squad is doing some undercover work in Las Vegas. I love the stuff between Harley and Deadshot. Just good stuff there. While Amanda Waller and James Gordon Jr. are calling the shots back at headquarters, the Squad is just doing what they usually do. Doing some undercover work, and then when their cover's blown, or when they need to drop the act and really get to work, that's when shit gets real. But this, okay, they're spoiler, they're gonna fight a giant monster made out of dead people. And go. Yeah, this was a weird issue, but I did like it. And call me crazy, but the interior artwork for King Shark in here, I actually dug it. It was good. I'm still seeing a really solid chemistry between Harley Quinn and Deadshot in here. It's nicely done for the most part. But there's one particular member of the Squad that it needs to realize where their place is before before they get their ass handed to them the hard way. And that's all I'm going to say. A particular member of the squad was asked for help, and they were like, nah. And I'm like, you don't want to piss off Waller. I mean, she is like the biggest bitch in the DC universe. You don't want to piss her off. And that's all I'm going to say for this. This was good, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it. It was just a little weird for me. I'm still thankful to be on board, and Jennifer's been reading this series too. She's read the first 21 issues, and she actually read this issue before I did, and she thought it was pretty good. So this is another series that we're both reading, and I like it. She likes it. What more can I ask for? But this was good. Just a little weird. Alright, we're ending this on a sad note, unfortunately. We're ending this with World's Finest number 14, At the Mercy of Desaad. Paul Levitz, look, I'm not trying to disrespect you or anything like that, but you are really seriously testing my patience with this series. I mean, first of all, this shit does not happen in this book. At least not here. I'm probably going to spoil the hell out of this book because I feel like I have to. What you see on the cover is basically what the cliffhanger at the end of this issue is possibly suggesting. So this really doesn't actually happen. But I noticed a lot of little slip-ups in here. Okay, the book starts off in the Catskill Mountains where Helena, the Huntress, is sleeping and her cabin catches on fire. She's getting out of bed, and the cabin is burning down. It's crumbling down all around her, yet she has plenty of time to change into her costume. It's just, I'm like, wow, really? She couldn't just grab her costume and jump out the window or something? No, she's got to stay there in a burning building, shit falling all around her, but she has plenty of time to change into her costume, which involves taking her current clothes off and putting her current clothes on, which I'm sure takes probably a good 10 minutes to do at the most. I'm sure that cabin would have been down to the ground by then. But she gets out alive, big shock. And where's the next little slip up here? Yeah, she gets out and the fire squad comes, and she actually says this. She says, maybe the volunteer fire squad can save the place, but either way it's useless to me right now. Oh, gee, Helena, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure they could save it. Yeah, it looks completely salvageable. Yeah, I'm sure if they put out that fire, you can just move right back in. Give me a fucking break. And yeah, I know I'm coming off really bitchy and nitpicky, but with this, I feel like I had to. Yeah. Let's just focus, and let's spend the rest of the issue focusing just how much more powerful Power Girl is than Huntress. I mean, this is something that we already know, so they're going to state the obvious. She could smack everybody around while Helena can't even... She could smack around a bunch of parademons while Helena can't even handle one at the end of the book. I'm like, I know they're parademons, they're very powerful soldiers from Apocalypse, but I've seen both of these girls handle them easily before. And I know Karen, Power Girl is able to smack a bunch of them around, but the fact that Helena had a problem even tackling on one of them is just... I'm seriously losing my patience with this series. I want to stay loyal to it because I love these characters. But seriously, DC, I'm begging you, get a new writer on this series. I don't care. Get a new writer. Hell, at this rate, I would take Scott Lobdell on this book. This is getting so monotonous and so heavy on plot conveniences and so heavy on plot holes that don't logically make any sense in a comic book universe. For me, the only thing that really saves this is the artwork. The artwork is good, and I'm grateful to know that the artist can perfectly draw breasts, because we see the boob window in here constantly. Hell, even when Karen's in her civilian clothes, she's still gonna have that massively huge cleavage, and I'm like, okay, we get it. Karen's got big boobs. This was an average read at best, and that's all I'm gonna say. Well, that's all I got for this week, everybody. I want to thank you all for watching this. Please subscribe to my main channel, Blugoblin01. I just did a bunch of Midtown Comics Stash episodes on there, including an all Green Hornet special. Just go nuts and go subscribe to that channel. You won't regret it, I promise you. Look for all my friends at Dark Avenger Inc. Plus, my student, TheMtVernonKid, my friends Mark and Chloe at FatStackOfComics, Deadpoolzilla, Brandon Hex, J. Al Ghul, all my friends. You know, if I know them, I should plug them. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and until next time, I will see you all later.